All right, let's get to it. I mean, I already ran through this, but I just did a pass at it. I've since played more of the things that were on the list. Okay, game of the year. Out of these listing, this is an odd lineup. Elden Ring and Ragnarok. There are a couple of things that people have recommended that I still haven't played. I didn't play Horizon Forbidden West. I played the original, so if it's anything like that, I would probably not give it to that. It's fine, you know. I didn't see anyone else really suggesting that it was something that special. Stray is a weird pick for this, for Game of the Year. Um, yeah, I mean, Plague Tale's alright. Plague Tale's pretty good, but I think mainly this is between Elden Ring and Ragnarok, obviously. Personally, and I mentioned this on Twitter, but personally I said that I think my game of the year is like split in four different directions for different reasons. So my game of the year for like last year, well, not last year, but the year before last year, wherever I made a video on it, my game of the year was Being a Dick, which does it is a weird thing to pick because it does continually release episodes. It's not like a single drop. There's an episode every couple months or so. There's only been 2 episodes of it released this year, at least so far. The next episode is supposed to drop sometime in December, although I'm not sure when, and that's only tentative. So I liked one of those episodes a lot, but I don't know, it still feels weird to pick it as a single episode of an ongoing kind of series of smaller bite-sized pieces that I really like. It's a weird pick for Game of the Year, and it's I don't know. Anyway, so beyond that, my split would be between Elden Ring, Ragnarok, and the game that I enjoyed the most that came out this year was Neon White. Neon White is the one that I played, not the most. I played Elden Ring the most, but I did grind the fuck out of Neon White. I feel like that's an underrated genre. Like just games that were clearly meant to be speed played as their primary form. I don't know. I think there's something about like these challenge games, and thinking about Neon White really explained it to me. There's something about these quote unquote difficult games like Elden Ring, or I played Ragnarok in the hardest difficulty, so I'd include that as well, where they're fun enough, I guess, but they're not really. Since I got more into fighting games. The single player challenge based games are not doing that much for me anymore. They're like at best they're just kind of like easy, and then the way that you take an arbitrary, single player esque challenge and make it more difficult or make it more obtuse, it just gets. I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of like the direction that single player based challenge has gone in, which is why Neon White was very refreshing out of everything else that I played this year, because Neon White, it is a challenge game with no clear endpoint, because the challenge is however fast you can get the times, obviously. You know, it has a couple of like, okay, this is the time you have to hit for the ace rank, this is the time you have to hit for the author rank, the red ace ranks. But mainly I was playing for the leaderboards, and I got some top 50 global times on a couple of those levels. I really played the shit out of Neon White. So yeah, it's really fun, and it's not like the kind of awkward give and take sort of difficulty. It's a completely smooth type of difficulty where you play slightly better, you get a slightly better time on your runs, it has more like creative energy than like these single player challenges games. How you structure, how you go through a level, what route you pick, stuff like that. It's just completely freeform, and it's up to you to iron it out as classy as possible. The fastest route, the most creative way of cutting out time, lining up shots, stuff like that. I would say, but it's also weird to give Game of the Year to Neon White because it is much smaller than these other ones. So I don't know. Elden Ring I played the most, but Blessing and Curse, like I said on Twitter, I've kind of played it so much that I don't even recall anything. Like I don't recall feelings about it. I don't recall how I felt playing it the first time or like exploring it. Like the best part of the game is exploration, your first playthrough. That is, I still maintain that is the strongest point of the game. Is expansion and discovery and like seeing the world map expand and all that shit. And I don't remember any of that because I played it so much. So I genuinely cannot think of like a warm, positive feeling for Elden Ring. It's just like it exists to me now. Whereas Ragnarok is the opposite thing, I feel more positively towards it because of recency bias. Because I just did it. I don't know. Out of this lineup, I'd pick Ragnarok. Next. Best game direction. Immortality is one of those ones where, to put it in this category, I would either put it as best or worst game direction. Like, the way that game works is so... It's weird. Like, its direction is the most unique thing about it, and what gives it its charm and stuff, but it's very fucking obtuse. So, I don't know. Best game direction. It's difficult. It feels weird to give it to... I would rather give it to Elden Ring in this one than Ragnarok, because Ragnarok is just like a normal fucking Uncharted game. It's just an Uncharted game, it's like, it's much more formulaic than the other ones, and it's well made, but I don't know, it feels easier to direct. I don't know, man. I don't feel that much, like, sheer directorial vision out of any of these games, other than Immortality, but I think the direction is, like, half of the problem in that game. It kind of holds it back. This is a difficult one. Best direction. I mean, Elden Ring has some really clever directional ideas and how loosely it guides you, but there's lots of, like, if you think about the direction, there's lots of points of narrative or expansion or stuff that are kind of secretly woven in there. Like the first time you get teleported by a chest to some far off position on the map, and you're like, whoa, what the fuck? And you look at the map and it's like ballooned in size. Or so those aspects of direction, of positional stuff, which are very consistent, I think are its strong points. But mostly at this point, I'm like weaker on that because I've played it so many times. I've beaten it like 8 times by this point. No, I've beaten it 9 times. And I really just honestly see it at this point because I'm so burnt on it that it's like just a world with fucking samey packs of enemies in a level, in a little fucking stage just placed around the map. I'm not a big fan of the enemy structuring, and like the more you play it and the more you replay it, the more so many situations that you find yourself in feel functionally identical. You kind of just play in the same way and do the same shit. This is difficult. Outstanding creative vision and innovation. I mean, if that's the description we're going for, I guess it would have to be Immortality. I'd either give it to Immortality or Elden Ring there. Best narrative. I am not super sure on this one. Plague Tale's like whatever. It's kind of mid. I mean, it's fine. Ragnarok is pretty surprisingly good. It's pretty good. Elden Ring, I'm not one of those guys that's like, what? Souls games have no narrative, but I personally am not a huge fan of Elden Ring's lore. I'm not a huge fan of its narrative compared to the other Souls games. I vastly prefer Bloodborne and Sekiro's narrative. I don't really get fucking almost anything out of Elden Ring's shit. Immortality is weird. I mean, Immortality is the kind of game that I can't vote for. Like, it's... If there is something really, really great about its narrative, you will not discover it in like a couple hours of playtime, you know? This is a game that, like, the intention is for you to stew on it for hours and hours after you finished it to try to piece things together and connect the thematic dots in your head. Look for layers of symbolism or whatever. It's just so fucking difficult to parse at least in a short time span, you know. I'm not made of time right now, so I mean, it does have its merits for sure. It is fucking insane, but I don't know if, at least for right now, my opinion on it will probably change in the future as I think more on it, but at least for right now, I don't think I would consider it best narrative. So I'd probably give that to Ragnarok. Art direction. This one's also difficult. Art direction is like creative and technical. So design and animation and stuff like that. Now, I would probably split again between Elden Ring and Ragnarok. They're both very similar in this concept because, like, their strengths is that they're a completely artificially created universe, you know, like a fantasy universe with its own art direction, completely unique, different types of vistas, and Elden Ring is like its own completely unique thing, whereas Ragnarok is like unique interpretations off of existing mythology. So it's interesting to see how they take the art direction for something that there is already a public concept of and make it unique, make it creative. So it's very difficult for me to pick between these two for art direction. But I don't know. I do think Ragnarok is slightly better on this front. Best scores and music. This is one of those rare times where I've heard the music of all of these games, actually, and I think they're all pretty okay. Least favorite would probably be Hellsinger. I mean, it's good, but after that, definitely Xenoblade. As for least favorite, let's see. All of these have some supreme banger sound, like a couple tracks that are just unapologetically banging. Elden Ring's main theme, well, there's lots of like God of War main themes, or that shit that plays over the Thor fight, or some of the other stuff. So, but Requiem also has some bangers. So it's you know, it's split up. I feel like the way music is used overall in the complete package, it's difficult. It's a difficult choice. I do like the I do like the creativity of the music in Ragnarok, though. I do like the stylization of it. So audio design, in-game audio and sound design. I haven't played Modern Warfare 2. I don't know, man. I mean, a lot of them just like sound the same to me. Unless the like I'll notice audio glitches and I'll notice weird audio shit, but I don't know. I usually just give this to stuff like racing games or things where like the experience is, I mean that's consistent with simulator types. Best performance out of this lineup, I would absolutely give it to Man Engage. By comparison, like I said, I haven't played Forbidden West. I don't know. I haven't heard like a particular, I don't know what the performance would be like. I mean, Ashley Birch is good, but I don't think the acting in Plague Tale Requiem is very good. Christopher Judge is great as Kratos. And, but I don't know. It's hard to beat. I would say overall, Immortality has the best acting in total. Not just Menon, but like, I don't know the names of most of the actors, but the actor that plays Carl, the actor that plays Jones, just, I mean, most of the cast is just like fucking phenomenal in how they present it. It has to be. That's the cornerstone of what it is. You're just watching clips of actors. So yeah. Games for Impact. I just picked a random one to vote for because I hadn't played any of these at the time. I have now played all of these. Let's see. Memoir Blue is like whatever. Hindsight's like whatever. Endling is okay. You know, it doesn't overstay its welcome. It's like fine. As Dusk Falls is, I like it. I like it, but it's kind of played out. You know, once the opening is like good, but once you have an idea of like the status quo of the game, what it's doing and what it's going to be doing, it falls off a lot because it's just not that interesting of a story. And it's but I mean, it's not bad. Let's see. Teenage Exocolonist is very good, but it's kind of a genre that I don't like, where I'm not a big fan of, you know, that time sync, you know, new day, pick your activity for the day kind of thing, without, if that pattern of gameplay is too obstructed or you're not seeing anything in the distance, it gets kind of boring fast. So but I would say it is solid. Citizen Sleeper is also really good. It's kind of difficult to get into, but it is very good. I would give this Games for Impact. I feel like this is the category that no one, like the people who nominate these don't give a fuck about. Like they're just like, yeah, whatever. Like these are probably like kind of fucking sappy piece of shit. Just go for it. Just do it. Throw it on there. Thought-provoking game with a pro-social meaning or message. I mean, I think the most effective games in this front would be Citizen Sleeper, Endling, or Teenage Exocolonist. But I'm going to, by far and away, give it to Teenage Exocolonist. Best ongoing, I have no opinion on this. I've heard Fortnite memes are funny. Best indie, I did give it to Neon White. That is, yes. I like Sifu and Cult of the Lamb, though. This I have no opinion on. I have no opinion. Innovation and accessibility. I don't know, actually, on this front. I have not been made aware of most of the accessibility options for most of these games. The only one I'm aware of is Last of Us Part 1, because I'm assuming it's going to be the same as 2. Maybe slightly more features added. I don't know. I really don't. Yeah, I mean, fine, I guess. I don't know. I really don't. I just have no knowledge of that. No opinion. Best action game. It's very bizarre to put Neon White here. Neon White is not an action game. It's barely even a shooting game. It's a speed game. It's just running the same route and then just, like, completing things more efficiently. Action adventure, Ragnarok, not even close. Role-playing. So, game design with rich player character customization and progression. I haven't played some of these, but I would probably give it to Elden Ring, because I don't think... I don't know. I mean, Elden Ring doesn't strike me as, like, role-playing per se, and I don't think it has that rich of progression or anything like that, but Best fighting game, KOF. Sifu being here is incredibly weird, but I guess you're limited in how many things you can include. How many fighting games even came out? Family, I have no opinion. Similar strategy, I have no opinion. No shit. Sports racing, I have no opinion. Multiplayer, I have no opinion. At least for this lineup. Content creator, I have no opinion. Debut indie. Now, this is a weird one because Neon White is not... I believe it is not a debut indie for a new studio. It would be my favorite out of this lineup, but... I don't know, it's kind of... See, but I didn't love any of these. Whatever. Adaptation. There's a lot of pretty good ones this year. Anticipate a game would be Street Fighter 6, but out of this lineup, I'm not sure. Definitely not RE4 or Hogwarts Legacy or Starfield, but it would be one of these two for sure. Yeah, probably Zelda. Best esports game. Out of this lineup, I tend to watch more Rocket League on rare occasions. No opinion. I'm familiar with this guy, so I voted for him because I've seen him play in some tournaments. I haven't seen the other people. I mean, I know who Faker is, but no opinion. These guys seem chill. They seem like bros. I hate that it forces you to vote for categories that you have no knowledge of. Why is my vote being counted for any of this shit? Alright, done. Fuck it.